Do you have anything that you attribute the jump in sales to? Is there anything that you heard, from folks that is a reason why we might be seeing this big turnaround here?
Yeah, I'll name three factors. One, first and foremost, the obvious one, the one that everyone knows, is the vaccines. Like we're doing, quite frankly, pretty excellently in the United States right now, vaccinating over 3 million people a day. We had a record over 4 million on Saturday, I believe it was. That is really changing the game in terms of COVID risk for most people. So they're getting back to a lot of activities that they don't do. In fact, my grandfather is in town with a family. I hugged my grandfather last night. We're both vaccinated now. He flew and hugged him. I just I feel so good about that. And that's the kind of thing that lots of people, lots of families, they're experiencing, and that he got on a plane and went to an airport. That money, a little bit of that money filters to AV. To things like live events, to things like transportation, to things like hospitality. So that's number one, the obvious factor. The number two factor, not to be forgotten, is that seasonal factor as well. We saw a little bit last summer that if you're uncomfortable a little bit with COVID-19, outdoors can mitigate a lot of the risk. So over the winter, we saw a little bit worse. We saw that was when we obviously had the worst COVID-19 wave, and also some negative employment consequences. And now that people are comfortable, happy to be eating lunch outside, having an evening party outside, spending a little bit more money, being a little bit more active economically. And then the third factor, and really quite a vital factor, I think that maybe a little bit undercovered in some of the wider economic literature, is the reduction in uncertainty. Now, the way that we track that, or one of our primary indicator that we're looking at AVIXA is something called VIX, stock market indicator, measure of uncertainty. And it spiked to record highs last March, April, and then stayed above 20 the next 12 months. And that's remarkably high because we've had years in the past, like 2017, the VIX never even touched 20. So a whole year above 20 is kind of crazy. And finally, in March, it really comfortably dropped below 20. It's around 17, 18 right now. And that's not super low yet. It could go quite a bit lower, down into single digits. But it's really reflecting that companies are kind of coming to grips with the end in sight of COVID-19. They're starting to make these investments okay, I don't know exactly what the office environment is going to look like post COVID-19, but I know that I'm going to have workers in these hallways and in these offices. And I know we're going to have some remote. So we're going to need conference systems that are working, that are up to date, and that are going to help our company collaborate through a mixed model of some people in, some people out, because that's was par for the course even a little bit before COVID-19. We know that's going to be the same afterwards. Education, the same deal. It's school is looking at plans and feeling pretty comfortable and confident that next school year is going to be in person. I mean, obviously a lot of schools already in person, something like 50% in the United States. A recent report from a couple of weeks ago said it was 50% in person and virtual, and we know it's already progressing towards in person, but they're really preparing for that firmly in person every day of the week future next year. So that confidence that they have is spurring some longer term AV investments and some more fixed AV investments, and it's making that difference in the index.